Okay, last generation I'm doing for tonight. I'll save the newest and last generation at this point until tomorrow if I get the chance. But let's start Sun and Moon, and we're starting off strong with what is currently my favorite starter Pokemon. I love Rowlet, to the point where Rowlet is now one of my top 10 Pokemon. It might even be my, well, its final form might even be my third favorite Pokemon. I love this thing. I love its colors. I love its design. The only thing I don't love is the generation it was brought into for a few reasons. One of which being the Pokemon itself. I'll get into that in a minute. Rowlet is cute and is adorable. It would be a perfect plush. I really want like a roundy Rowlet plush. I love it. I love its colors. I love owls in general. I've talked about that before. It's a grass type. And I like grass types in general. Statistically, grass types are the most common type that I choose. So yeah. Datrix, or Dartrix, one of the few middle stage Pokemon that actually look really fucking good. I love its kind of like snobby little personality. It looks like, it doesn't look super snobby. It looks kind of, it reminds me of the kind of middle class kind of maybe metrosexual friend you have that's really into fashion, but is not a bad guy. They're a bit snobby, but they're a good person at heart. It gives me that kind of impression. Again, the mild orange, the greens, the browns, the white. That color palette, that color palette right there is my taste to a T. I love natural colors, and that's my taste to a T. Decidueye, most likely my third favorite Pokemon. It's in my top 5, top 10 at least. It is a brown green owl archer. Okay. It's a grass type. Pretty cool. It's a ghost type. Pretty cool. Mysterious, but part of the problem I have with it in Sun and Moon, but we'll get into that in a minute. It uses its wing as a bow and its own feathers as arrows. That is so creative. I love that. It opens up its own wing as a bow and uses its own feathers as arrows. That is so fucking cool. And being a ghost type, just like owls in real life, it will be a silent flyer. Owls fly probably more like quieter than any other bird type. They're like ghosts. They fly super silently. So imagine this owl, this giant like human-sized owl, flying in a dark forest, completely silently, finding its prey, and then in the middle of flight, shooting its arrow before going back to flying again. Silent, death, kill. Beautiful. I love it. The only thing I don't like about the Decidueye is its name. The problem I have with the ghost type, is that Generation 7 has a lot of dark types. Everything knows at least bite. Everything you will encounter knows at least bite. There are a lot of dark types in this generation, which means Decidueye is the worst choice you can make for the Generation 7 games, unfortunately. However, I currently have my original Decidueye Hawthorne in Pokemon Sword and Shield, and it's doing very well. So, it is a great Pokemon. It just was in the worst generation. I would have honestly much rather have this, the Robin Hood style owl, be in the one based on England than the gorilla. I think the gorilla would have made more sense for kind of like a Hawaiian tropical island kind of based thing. But yeah, there we go. So Decidueye is amazing. It is my favorite starter right now and one of my all-time favorite Pokemon. I absolutely adore it. But unfortunately, its typing, despite being really cool, was a major weakness in its release game. Litten, by far the Pokemon of choice for this generation. It is a Fire Dark type. And as we get to Incineroar, I like all 3 stages. I think all 3 stages of this are fantastic. And as we get to Incineroar, you can pretty much see that somebody really likes fire fighting types. And they really wanted another fighting type. But someone in the company with more sense said, wait a minute, wait. people joke about firefighting types. In fact, since Generation 4, every new generation that comes out, when they see the fire type, they accuse it of being firefighting. Every time. People do it every generation. We can't make this firefighting. Well, what about Fire Dark? We can still make it based on a wrestler, but we can make it based on a heel. Genius! It's based on a heel from wrestling. It's a dark, which explains the dark type. It's really cool. I fucking love its design. I think it's fantastic. It deserves the popularity it gets, and it is by far the best choice you could have. Because being fire dark gives it a major advantage against the Decidueye, as well as neutralizing a lot of the dark types you'll encounter during the game. On top of that, it has fighting moves, which makes them stronger against a lot of those dark types in the game. Makes it strong against a lot of the ghost types you'll encounter during the game. And the fire type in general tends to be more useful than water or grass, despite the fact that it being my least favorite of the three. It does tend to be more useful in terms of advantages. It's a great Pokemon. I have no complaints. All three of the Pokemon in this generation are perfect. By far the least popular one, and honestly my least favorite as well, but I have used it. In fact, I've used it more than I've used Incineroar. Popplio is adorable. Brionne is a bit awkward, but it is cute. And then Primarina, so long as you get a female one, is pretty great. It is a water fairy type, which makes it fan-fucking-tastic. I love its voice in the anime. I love its special move. It's great. It's really good. I like its design. Again, it's one that leans very heavily into a certain type. It's like, you want a woman. You want this to be a woman. Same thing with Delphox. You want a female starter. It's kind of like with Machamp. You don't really want a female Machamp. You want a male Machamp because they're so... I mean, they can exist that way, but when a Pokemon looks so very feminine or so very masculine, being the gender that they don't appear seems very awkward. That might be a very, very politically incorrect thing to say in the modern age, but I'm a cis white male anyway, so my very existence is pure evil apparently to a lot of these people, so whatever. I like her. I think she's great. I think all three of these Pokemon... honestly, I think Generation 7 has the most perfect list of Pokemon ever. Since, like, Generation 1. You know, Generation 1, Generation 6, and Generation 7 have the best selection of starters of any generation. I love them. Picky Peck. Okay, it's the early bird one based on a woodpecker. Pretty cool looking. I like it a lot. One of the cool looking starter birds. Trombeak. Okay, still a woodpecker. A little bit different looking, but I like it. It's cool. Has a lot of personality in it. Holy shit, I have a new favorite early bird. Look at this motherfucker. It's so pissed off. Okay, only complaint in this with this Pokemon, it's a normal flying type. It should be normal fire. Because its special move is a move where it gets so pissed off, it heats up its beak to insane levels and then pecks to the point where it hurts like being shot. To me, that should be a mixed type move. Like Harlucha's special move, Flying Press, is both a flying and a fighting type move. That move should be a flying and a fire type if it isn't already. And to make it more powerful, Toucannon should be a flying fire type. Now I know a lot of people would compare this with fucking Talonflame, but okay, people would make that joke, but really, it does deserve it. Toucannon's awesome. It's great. Like, toucans in general, I don't know if you've ever seen a toucan, but toucans in general are a lot like parrots in that they have huge personalities. They're very, very naughty. They're very, very full of personality, and you've got to watch them if you have them nearby. They're very cheeky birds, and being this pissed off Toucannon, I love it. I think Toucannon is the best early bird we've ever had. So yeah, it's definitely my favorite. I actually didn't use it the first time through because as much as I liked it, I was so used to early birds at this point being kind of meh that I never used it. But I absolutely love Toucannon. And the internet's gone again. God damn it. And here we have the early normal type like Rattata or Zigzagoon before it. I like the personality it has a lot of personality, but it is kind of boring because we've had a lot of Pokemon like this at this point, like these very slinky looking, you know, mongoose style Pokemon. We've had a few of these now. We've had Zigzagoon, we've had Sentret or Linoon, and we've had Yungoos. Even the names are very similar. One thing that isn't similar though is Donald Trump here. I'm sorry, it's Trump. I don't care if they claim it's not intentional. That's Trump. That is Trump. Like, that Pokemon, this Pokemon will forever be known as the Donald Trump Pokemon. There's no other way around that. Grubbin. Really cool. I actually like this a lot. It's been a long time since I've liked an early bug Pokemon, but yeah, I like this thing a lot. It's pretty cool. Charjabug. It's a caterpillar battery. That is a really cool idea. I like that a lot. Vikavolt. This is the coolest early bug we've ever had. Vikavolt is badass. It looks like a fucking kid's toy. It's so fucking cool. Imagine. Oh my god, that's a product. All right. Pokemon, like Game Freak, Nintendo. Listen to me. Drones. Drones are really popular right now. Why don't you make? If it doesn't already exist, I have to look that up after this video. Why don't you make a Vikavolt-shaped drone? Huh? I'd buy it. Dude, it's awesome. The only problem with this, you can get Charjabug really early on in the game. In like one of the first areas of the game. It is one of the first Pokemon you run into. Of course, it's an early bug. You cannot get Vikavolt until one of the last areas of the game. Because it doesn't evolve. The only way it evolves is if it gains a level in a specific area right near the end of the game, which makes it fucking pointless up until the Omega Ruby, no, Ultra Sun and Moon. That's the one. Makes it pointless up until that version because they fix it in that version. But in the original version, whilst it's really cool, it was not usable. Crab Brawler. Really like this thing. Again, this is a Pokemon. They do a lot of that this generation. This is a Pokemon that oozes personality. It is a pure fighting type as opposed to fighting water type, which confuses me. There's another Pokemon like that in the next generation. I don't get the typing. It is a crab, so why isn't it a water type? I know not all crabs live in water, believe it or not, but yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I wonder if it was based on the coconut crab. I guess it must have been based on the coconut crab. I don't think those things live in water. I think they actually live in trees. Huh. Okay, maybe I've corrected myself. Anyway, it's a boxing crab. It's really fucking cool. I like its little bruised eye. It's got a lot of personality. It's really cool. Unfortunately, it turns into one of the stupidest looking Pokemon they've ever made. What is this? Okay, let's break this Pokemon down for a minute. We have a Pokemon based on the Yeti crab. Cool idea. We have another Pokemon that doesn't evolve until the very end of the game. Well, near the very end of the game. One of the later areas in the game. Despite the fact that it's one of the earlier Pokemon that you can get. We've got fists that are these big balls attached to very small stockets that have like paw prints on them. We've got a completely round body with 4 tiny legs that could not possibly support it. And we've got the face that is screaming because its entire existence is agony. It cannot move because it has to support all this bulk on these tiny legs. It cannot move its arms because it has to support all this bulk on its tiny joints. Its very existence is pain, and the only thing that you can do for it is kill it and put it out of its misery. This is an awfully designed Pokemon. This is one of the worst Pokemon they have ever made. I do not understand this. I don't like a Yeti crab. Great idea for a Pokemon. A boxing crab. Great idea for a Pokemon. They could have done so much better than this. This is awful. Oricorio. I love this Pokemon. This was in my first team, specifically Pom-Pom style, because it is the electric type. And electric flying is a really good fucking type. This thing is tiny. It is actually about the size of a Budgerigar. It's about that big. It's tiny. But not only are all of these full of personality style, full of personality, with the ballet or Billy, but whatever. That is by far the that one is by far my favorite, but it's fire flying. Pom Pom, that's the best one in terms of type advantage. That's the one he used. I'm just glad I don't have to use that one. I don't really like that one. Sensu style is really good. They're all kind of cute though. That's my least favorite. I do like it, but it's my least favorite. But they're all kind of cool. And you're not limited, so you catch one of them. And then in an area where you catch them, there are these flowers. And you can use these flowers on this bird to change it into one of the different things, each of which come with a different type. There's fire, psychic, and ghost. They all have a unique move. Their ability Dancer copies any dance, like Swords Dance, or Dragon Dance that the enemy moves. Very unique type ability, very unique ability, very interesting, very to the theme, really good. I like it a lot. In fact, I used this in the Elite Four in the game, one of which is a bird train, and it uses an Oricorio, and they dance, and they both copy each other any time. It was a fun battle. Great Pokemon. For how small it is surprisingly really powerful, and it is. Each one of these are absolutely full of personality. I love how you can get all of them in the same Pokemon. You can try them all out without without catching a new one. You can try them out in the exact same fucking Pokemon. It is a great gimmick Pokemon. I absolutely fucking love it. I think it's one of the best Pokemon they've ever made. I would like to see it used again properly in future games. Cutiefly. It's okay. It evolves into this. I used this very recently in a Pokemon Sword and Shield bug type mono run. It's pretty good. It's not the best, but being a furry type, I think it's grass furry, isn't it? That's bug furry. Being a furry type, it is actually pretty good. And yeah, I don't feel strongly about it, but I don't dislike it. It is a pretty good Pokemon. Rockruff. Remember Honedge? This was Honedge in this was Honedge in Omega Ruby and oh fucking hell, I'm getting confused now. This was Honedge in Sun and Moon. As soon as I saw Rockruff, I was hype. I was excited. Finally, a true wolf Pokemon. We have never at any point had a wolf Pokemon. And then it evolves into Lycanroc, and I fell in love. It's a Wolfie, and it's good. So keep in mind that this is Sun and Moon, and despite all the problems Sun and Moon has, I have a starter that is completely up my alley, that I absolutely fucking love, that feels like it was designed purely for me. And then we have a Wolfie, completely up my alley, feels like it was designed just for me. Absolutely love it. On top of that, it has different forms depending on when you evolve it. There's the Dusk form, the Midnight form, Werewolf, really cool. I prefer the Midday form, but really cool. Later on in the newer versions, they added the Dusk form, which has Tough Claws, which makes this already really good Pokemon way better. On top of that, it's got more of a red wolf color palette and green eyes, which means it's designed for me because it is a much more me level design. It's perfection. It's absolute perfection. It is a perfect Pokemon. Just like Oricorio, just like Decidueye. Perfect Pokemon. It feels like it was designed purely for me, and it is hard for me to play through these games and not use Lycanroc. And because there are free versions of them, I can do that a lot without getting bored. So I'm not going to burn myself out of Lycanroc anytime soon. It's great. Wishy-Washy. I really like the idea of this. It evolves. It turns into this during battle with using its schooling ability. It's interesting, but I don't really feel strongly about it. Mareanie. Really great Pokemon. Toxapex, it's really good. I don't feel strongly about it, but it is really good. Mudspray, another fantastic Pokemon, especially when it evolves into Mudsdale. I grew to really like Shire horses, purely because of growing up around my mother. Shire horses are some of her favorite animals. She loves them. These big, strong horses with like fur around their legs. And Mudsdale is basically a ground version of that. It's really good. I love its stamina ability. I love how it gets stronger and stronger and stronger as the game goes on. I love this idea of it being this unmovable object that just stays there, attacks back, and it's just, again, it's brimming with personality. Its ability and the way it looks and how it moves, it all adds to this personality. I use one of these in my second playthrough. It's really good. I love Mudsdale a great deal. Dewpider. It's adorable. It's a diving spider, which is a real thing. I think it's called a fisherman spider. It's a real thing. Except what this spider does is it has a bubble around its abdomen. Its bum, essentially, because that's where spiders breathe. So it has a bubble around that made out of web to keep air in it. Then it goes underwater to dive for fish. Well, Pokemon took that idea and they reversed it. So instead of this Pokemon going underwater with an air bubble in order to hunt for fish, this Pokemon comes on land with a water bubble over its head in order to prevent it from suffocating. Brilliant. Brilliant. I like this a little bit less, but I still really like it. Really cool Pokemon. Bug water. Great. Fermantis. Again, really cool. Takes a long time to evolve, but once you get this thing, I think this is one of the coolest Pokemon they ever made. It is pure grass, which is weird. I thought it would be grass bug because it's based on the Orchid Mantis. Very beautiful type of little bug. They don't live very long, but they're by far the most beautiful praying mantis, or mantid. It's based on that. It's a really good Pokemon. It's fantastic. It looks beautiful, and yeah, great. I like this Pokemon. More lol. This is the Mushroom Pokemon that they've done a few times before, and it is by far the best Mushroom Pokemon they've ever done. It has so much personality. It looks like this creepy little spirit thing that hangs on trees and sucks its energy from, sucks like the energy and life force away from the tree, you know, in like a dark wood. Evolves into this thing, which is terrifying, and I love it. This thing looks like an alien if it was merged with a mushroom. I love it. It's terrifying. It's great. Salandit. One of my favorite Pokemon again. I used a Salazzle in my very first playthrough, and it made me question my sexuality. I'm not gonna lie. Despite being a furry, Pokemon has never been really the one that's done it for me, but for some reason, that sultry expression on its face, and the way it's posed, and its whole body, and its Pokedex entry, only female Salazzles exist. They emit a gas laden with pheromones to captivate male Salandit, so it builds its own, like, harem of men, whatever that's called. It's hot. And it is, fittingly, it is a fire poison type, which is a unique typing. Its ability, Corrosion, means it can poison even steel and other poison type Pokemon, which is really cool. It is currently a Pokemon I have in Sword and Shield in my Ultimate Team. I love it. It's great. One of my favorite Pokemon they've ever made. I think it's beautiful. I think it's perfect. It's made me weirder than I already am, but I like it. Stuffle. I think this is, yeah, normal fighting. It's based on a red panda and a teddy bear. It's really cute. It's really cool. It evolves into Beware. It's this big Pokemon that has actually killed people because it just wants a hug. It's so strong that it breaks people's spines. Here we go. Like, once it assesses you as a friend, it tries to show its attention with a hug. Letting it do it is dangerous, as it could easily shatter your bones. It hugs you and breaks your spine. That's hilarious. On top of that, it was absolutely amazing in the anime. The Sun and Moon anime was actually pretty good. They took the anime in a different direction for a change. It was actually pretty good. And the Beware moments were absolutely fucking hilarious. Going as far as it jumping from a plane, diving into Kanto when they go back to the Kanto area for one episode, landing from a fucking plane, picking up Team Rocket and then running over the ocean. It's so stupid. I love it. Everything about this Pokemon just screams dumb fun. Bonsweet. It's pretty cute. It's a lot better than a similar designed kind of attempt Pokemon they did in Generation 5. Pretty much. Evolves into Celine. Again, pretty cute. No complaints. And then this thing for people who are really into legs. Serena? That's it, Serena. Really cool. I like it a lot. Very femme fatale looking Pokemon. I think it's pure grass. Yeah, pure grass. Really cool. I like it a lot. Comfy, it's pointless. It exists purely because of Hawaii. The zone's based on Hawaii, so they had to have one of these Pokemon in it. Ungaru. I don't care much for it, but I like it. It's a psychic normal type. It's a orangutan. Orangutan are cool creatures in general. Don't really feel strong to it, but I like it. Passimian. It's pure fighting. It's a monkey. It's the counterpart to Ngaru. It's based on a lemur, so technically not a monkey. But I really like the idea of it. They're actually surprisingly bigger. The first time I saw one of these things, I thought it was like maybe slightly bigger than an actual lemur. So about maybe that big? That big? You know, decent size, but not huge. No, they're about the size of a grizzly bear when it stands up on its hind legs. They're huge. They're giant. And their whole thing is they play football, like American football, rugby. I've just insulted my entire nation by saying football. They play rugby. Using like as an entire like that's the whole thing. They're sporty monkeys, and the idea of these big beefy jock sporty lemurs like charging after each other. They really need to do that in an anime at one point. It's hilarious. I love them. Wimpod. Another one of the Pokemon in this generation that feels like it was designed purely for me. This thing is the Magikarp of the generation. Wimpod is useless. In fact, it has the ability to Wimp Out when it takes damage above a certain amount. It leaves and swaps out with another Pokemon in your party. It just goes away. You can't control it. It's a really cowardly Pokemon based on like a horseshoe crab or a Triup, whatever they're called. And then it evolves into this amazing looking thing called Galizapod. Also has a similar ability, Emergency Exit. When it takes too much damage, it runs away. It makes it annoying to use, but it's really cool. It adds to its theme. Again, I love its design. I think it looks amazing. It almost inches into Digimon levels, but not too much. It's still a Pokemon. Let's see. One says it will do anything to win, taking advantage of every opening and finishing opponents off with the sharp claws on its front legs. Very much the style they went for in the anime. It is a cheap fighter, cowardly fighter that will just do anything to win. However, I prefer this version of it. They live in sunken ships or in holes in the seabed. When Galizapod and Grapple battle, the loser becomes the winner's meal. Okay, I'm thinking of the Sun and Moon one. So this is the Sword and Shield one. The Sun and Moon one basically says that they live in caves deep below the ocean, and they get scared easily. They're basically gentle giants. Apparently they've retconned that, but apparently they were originally kind of like, the idea was that they were these monstrous looking creatures that were actually really scared and cowardly, and they lived in a solitary bit in like underwater caves meditating. I love the idea of it. Apparently they've retconned that a little bit. They've made them much more violent, but I love them. I think it's badass. I feel this was made just for me. I love this thing. Sandygast, Pile of Sand. Again, this is one of those really dumb Pokemon that I like because of how dumb it is. It's entertaining being so stupid. So yeah. Pukey-Mewtwo, I like its gimmick where it shoots out its stomach just like the animal it's based on to attack people in like a punching motion, very cartoony. Type Null. Okay. Type Null is technically a legendary. It's like a new Mewtwo. It was a man-created legendary that can evolve into Savannah with friendship. And it is, as you might be able to tell, they hinted on the idea that this was created using Arceus. Essentially, they tried to make the ideal Pokemon from God. This is the idea of God's DNA being experimented on. It is a chimera with the ability to be any type whatsoever. You can see it in its body. It has like these different, like that looks like a fin from like a water Pokemon. These are very insectoid front parts. The front looks very different from the back. It is a human-made Pokemon using experimenting on God's DNA. It is really cool. It might actually be my favorite legendary at this point, and it's one I would actually use because whilst being a legendary, it doesn't feel like a legendary. It has Arceus's gimmick without feeling overpowered. It's really cool. I like it a lot. It's a fitting reward for beating the game. I think it's great. I think it's a fantastic Pokemon. It's one of very few legendaries I would actually use. Meteor. I like the gimmick behind it. So you find it like this, you deal damage to it, it breaks off, and you see the red core inside of it. Or there's different coloured cores, and some people like to collect them, like red, green, purple, and orange, and all that kind of thing. I like its gimmick, but that's about it. I honestly forgot this thing existed. It's a koala that sleeps. That's all I did for a koala Pokemon. They could have done something much better with the infamous drop bears, but there we go. Tortonator. I like it in the anime. The anime made me like it more, but honestly, I think it's a hideous Pokemon. Togedemaru. It's the fucking Pikachu clone Pokemon. It's one of the worst. It's hideous. Mimikyu. I do not like Pikachu. I have never really liked Pikachu. The only Pikachu clone that comes close to kind of liking it is, I think, is it Emolga? The flying squirrel one? So they made Mimikyu. It is a Pokemon where we have never, and hopefully will never, see its real form. Because this isn't a Pokemon. This under here is the Pokemon. The only time we see it, it's a shadowy claw that comes underneath it. It is a ghost furry type. If somebody ever does actually see under the Pikachu costume and see its true form, it has been known to actually kill them out of fear. This is a real Lovecraftian Pokemon, and I love it. And I also love the I actually want to get one of these at one point. I've not got one yet, but you can get an official Mimikyu plush that looks like an Eevee instead of a Pikachu. I want it for my Eevee collection. But yeah, I've not got around to getting one yet, but I do want to get one at one point. But it is literally a dangerous ghost that kills people from just its very appearance, that dresses like Pikachu. Now, some say, some variants of it is, it dresses like Pikachu because it wants the love that Pikachu gets, because it can't get the love the way it looks naturally, because it's too frightening, it hurts people, because it's that unnatural looking to most people. On the other hand, some people say, some theories are that it hates Pikachu, that it wants to kill Pikachu, that the Pikachu being so popular pisses it off and it wants to just kill it. So it dresses it as Pikachu, not to get love from people, but to harm people who like Pikachu and to attract Pikachus in order to harm them. I love it. I think it's one of the coolest Pokemon they've ever... It's one of the most meta Pokemon they've ever made. I love it. It's hugely popular for a reason. It's actually really good in battle. You need a specific strategy behind it, but it is very, very good. It's got a really cool shiny where it's actually a black and white Pikachu like the original games. It's cool. It's great. It is a perfect Pokemon. This thing doesn't need to exist. This was a major disappointment because it reminds me a lot of Falcor from the Neverending Story, which was a major childhood movie of mine. I love it, but it's kind of shit. I don't give a shit about this thing. Ooh, the pseudo-legendary, and one of my favorites. Haxorus is still my favorite, but I love this thing. It is a dragon fighting type. It's just dragon at this point. Dragon fighting type. And it's based on old, I think, like Aztec or possibly Hawaiian fighters, where their armor kind of clacks. You gotta look at videos of like demonstrations online, but they wear a kind of scale armor that as they move and do this like battle dance, it clacks and clings together and make this horrible noise. And that's what this Pokemon is based around, but it's also a dragon, and it's actually really cool. It follows into Hakmoto. Again, I think this is one of the most perfect designed Pokemon they've ever made. It's got a lot of the same qualities as the Haxorus line, the Axu line. It's not over-designed. Everything makes sense. It's really cool. And then they evolve into Komoto, which really has the armor style thing. I'll definitely edit in a video in this, with kind of showing what that's like. But No, this is really cool. I love this thing. I think it's one of the coolest pseudo legendaries I've ever made. And if it wasn't for Haxorus, this would be my favorite. I like the Tapu Koko's story more than I do. To me, they're just another throwaway kind of like mythic Pokemon like Mew and all that. But well, I like Mew, but like Axu or not Axu. What they were? Misfrit, Memfrit, whatever they're called. Those things. Tapu Lele, Tapu Bulu, Tapu Fini. I think is kind of cool, but yeah, I don't really care. Cosmog, I only like because of the game. Get in the goddamn bag, Nebby! Evolves into this thing, which then evolves into Iris Solgaleo, Lunana, which I don't really care about. Then we've got the Ultra Beasts. We've got Nigaleo, which is a rock poison type. I always forget what type this is. I just remember it's weird. It's a big squid. Buzzswole, the most JoJo of Pokemon. It's stupid, but I like it. Faramisa, a lot of the same kind of theme as Salazzle. Yeah, its body is thin and supple, but it possesses great power. So, like, this is ultimate masculine power. This is ultimate feminine power. And I like them. I do really like them. Most of the Ultra Beasts I don't like, but I really like these things. And both of them are really intimidating in different ways. Like, this thing will beat you the fuck up. This thing will fuck you up emotionally. I really like it. Xurkitree is another one of these that is so dumb it's good. It's literally like, it looks like a Christmas tree star on its head, and it's just a series of lights. It's a series of electrical wires. It's really stupid, but because it's so stupid, I like it. I think this thing looks dumb. I don't like it. It is kind of creepy with the thin neck and head, but I don't like it. This thing's kind of fun, but I'm not huge on it. I don't care about this thing. I don't care about this thing, nor do I care about this thing, or this thing, although that is a good fight. Remember me talking about gear Pokemon? A man-made gear Pokemon? Say hello to Magarera? I don't know. This thing. It was actually introduced in Generation 6, but it is technically a Generation 7 Pokemon. I really like it. I think it's a really cool concept. It is the Pokemon that shall not be named, the worst Pokemon ever made concept, but done with creativity as opposed to just shoving out another Pokemon in the list. It is great. I love it. I think it's great. I've never used it. I have one, but I've never used it. But yeah, I think it's a really cool concept. I want to see more of it. I will have to watch. I think there's a movie about it. Then we got this. It's a fighting ghost type, Moss Shadow. I like it. I actually got this thing. I went out my way to get it. Really cool. I like a lot of it. I like it a lot. It's based on a lot of Hawaiian legends. Very cool. Then we've got another Ultra Beast that they added in the later games. A poison one that evolves into Poison Dragon. I like its first form. Sorry about the fireworks. I like its first form. The second form looks dumb. Again, this looks stupid. This looks terrifying. I hate it. This is really cool. It reminds me a lot of Lucario. It's that kind of thing. The only thing I don't like about it is how its tail is attached to its upper back. Oh my god, fireworks, shut up. Yeah, I like it a lot. It's really cool. Meltan, it's cute in the anime, but yeah. Melmetal, and apparently a Gigantamax one exists. This is more of a Generation 8 Pokemon, to be honest. So I'll continue. That'll be the last one on this list, but it was introduced in this generation. It's okay. I think I'd like it a lot more if I could actually get it in game rather than going through Pokemon effing Go and messing around with that. I hate Pokemon Go with a passion. So yeah. So next time around, we'll be going from Grookey onto the final current generation so far. But for now, I'm going to take a break. I'm going to shut up for a change. I'm going to drink. I'm going to eat. And I'm going to play some ESO. So I will see you next time.